Tell me what it is like to raise an autistic child.
Wow, jumping right in, man. I love it. I love it. You know, it's not what I expected. You know, I grew up, thinking, oh man, I can't wait to teach my son baseball. I can't wait to teach my son football. I can't wait to be his coach. I can't wait to do this and this, And I knew I was having a son before I was having a son. I knew that when my wife and we went through IVF, we were told we could never have babies naturally. So we went through IVF, and I remember the procedure, the process. It was so delicate. And the second that we found out that our eggs had taken and the transfer had taken, I knew that I was having a boy. And from that second on, I knew that I was going to do whatever I could to help him have the best life possible. Mm-hmm. What I didn't know and didn't expect was what actually happened and what transpired. It is always an emotional moment, and I told myself I wasn't going to get emotional. Here we are in the first few minutes, but I believed the system. I believed in people. I believed in medical professionals. I believed in doctors. I believed that putting vaccines and poisons into my son at birth was going to be okay. I was ignorant to believe that. I was naive to think that by doing so, by putting so many vaccines at once into my newborn baby's body was going to be okay. Mm. We grew up with maybe 1 or 2 vaccines at birth and maybe 6 or 7. How old are you?
37.
And so even if you were pro-vax, you would have maybe only had 6 or 7 vaccines your entire life. Now it's 87 plus at birth, and we were forced to put 6 or 7 of them in my son's body at 6 months. I asked my doctor, Dr. Van Beaver, what do you think? I don't know, should we space them out? I just don't like the idea of putting them all into my son's body. He's 5 months, 6 months. He's perfectly fine. I have video. He's healthy. He's smiling. He's talking. He's laughing. He's mimicking words. I have video of this. And then we go to this doctor, Dr. Van Beaver, that we trust, and we say, hey, okay, do we really need all of this at once? What about autism? No, it's perfectly safe and effective. It's perfectly fine. We're just going to do them all at once. And so we trusted that. That day, I watched my son's lights go out. I watched him get sick as a dog. He spiked fevers of 104, 105. All those adjuvants, those metals, the aluminum, the chemicals, they got past the blood-brain barrier and they went straight to the brain.
The same day?
Same day.
What vaccine was that?
All of them. It was 5 or 6 at once. It was MMR. It was mRNA. It was the initial ones that you're supposed to get at 5 or 6 months that you're supposed to get all at once.
One shot?
One shot. Multiple all at once. Yeah, I think it was like 5 or 6 in the same day. Just boop, 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 boop. He came home so sick, and me and my wife knew. We didn't know what it was, because you get this diagnosis, it's just autism, right? Or it's, he's just delayed. Well, all the things, his progression, everything. And now he's got ear infections. He's got stuff coming out of his ears. That's brain inflammation that's coming out. That's not an ear infection. I mean, there's so much stuff to this that I can go down a rabbit hole that would make you sick to your stomach.
Please do.
I mean, talk about people say, oh, colic. Colic is not a thing. Colic is your baby suffering and screaming and crying. And I say this because I have a newborn baby, right? I watched my son's lights go out. Now we're doing incredible things for him, for him to be better and to develop and to become normal, but he's not, right? You asked me what it's like raising an autistic child. Nothing that I expected. Nothing that I expected, because I expected his life to be so much different, and he deserved to have a different life. He deserved to be able to grow up and play baseball. He deserved to be able to have a girlfriend, to get married. He deserved to not have to live at home for the rest of his life. He deserved for me to not have to worry about what happens to him when I'm gone. He deserves to have a life, to be able to enjoy things, to be able to go outside and kick a ball and have friends. And if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have been able to do that, which he just was able to do a couple weeks ago. But this is nothing of what I expected, and this is nothing what he deserves. He deserves better. He went from being happy, smiling, enjoying life, to right after those shots, being sick. You can see it in his eyes. They go out. Everything is just gone. That day, a part of him left, and a part of me left, and a part of me, all I want to do is help him and help other families to not have to endure what I've had to go through by putting these poisons into their newborn babies' bodies. They do not have to. These vaccines are causing more damage and more death than the actual diseases themselves ever will. We can go down every single disease. You can ask me every single one. Polio, when was the last death? 1970. Measles, mumps. We can go back decades. I mean, these things have been eradicated. These things are not harming our babies, and if they do, we can treat them naturally. Naturally, when I grew up and I was hearing of the measles, the mumps, I was like, yo, I get to stay home from school today. Literally, I was never worried about death. Now we're worried about death on our babies. No, the reason why is because they want you to think that your baby can die. So you have to put those poisons inside of your baby. You do not have to, and you should not have to, and you absolutely should not, considering none of them have ever been safely tested, ever.
So
Ever.
CDC a few days ago came up with this new article and says vaccines do not cause autism is not evidence-based claim because studies have not ruled out the possibility that infant vaccines can cause autism.
And guess what? No press release, no mainstream media, no announcements, no platform, no podium, no nothing. You just told us the quiet part out loud that we've been screaming for decades, and now you're just going to go ahead and slowly remove that and say that we're right? Without telling us, hey, we're sorry. You know what I mean? We've kind of gaslit you. We've kind of manipulated you. We've lied to you. We've made you literally think that vaccines cannot and will not ever cause any type of autism or neurological disorder or Parkinson's or dementia, or we can go on all day long. All day long. All of these things are the cause of so many different diseases that we don't even know about. And it starts with putting these poisons and toxins and chemicals into our bodies. And I can go through every single ingredient and tell you exactly what they do and the contraindication they will have in your newborn baby's body. But a doctor cannot do that for you.
So before that, I would love to go to the timeline. You went to see a doctor, pediatrician.
Yeah.
You got the shot. Your kid got the shots.
Yeah.
You came home. What time was that?
So this was 5 months. We went in the morning. We got him his shots. We said, okay, fine. He did 5 shots at once. We took him home. This is during COVID, by the way, right? This is right after COVID. This is right after I had to shut down my business because of COVID, right? My business, I get my son's gets so sick from these vaccines. This is all happening at once, and we're confined. We're stuck at home, right? So we can't even do anything. There's nothing that we can do or whatever. And now we're scared of all these diseases. We're scared of COVID. So now we're like, now we have to get these vaccines, right? We have to. Oh, you have to get these vaccines because all these things are happening. Thank God we never gave him the COVID vaccine. I don't know what that would have done to his poor little body, but we still allowed these 5 vaccines at once. And we watched him regress.
So you came home?
And he was so sick, nonstop crying.
Same day?
Same day.
Fever?
Fever, 104, 105. So we get scared. We call the doctor. Hey, he's sick. Just give him Tylenol. Right. So Tylenol, again, I've said this in all of my shows, Tylenol does not cause autism. Tylenol is the transportation vessel that allows that to happen. When you take all these adjuvants and metals all at once, they're supposed to stay in a certain area, not travel and get past the blood-brain barrier. All these metals, toxins, adjuvants, dead baby DNA, all these things are going into your baby. All of these, and an abundance of them as well. When you take Tylenol, Tylenol depletes all of the glutathione receptors into your body, eliminating the defense mechanism for your baby. They can't even defend the metals and the heavy toxins from their body now because Tylenol now is depleting that. What does acetaminophen do? Which is actually the drug that's doing this, is also thinning your blood. So it's basically creating a transportation vessel to get to the blood-brain barrier to create havoc, which is what's happening neurologically to these kids. It's either damage to the microgut biome or damage to the neurological area, which is what autism in today's world actually is.
So for the audience that do not know, what's glutathione?
So glutathione is a vitamin, it's a nutrient, it's a mineral, right? It's in our body, we naturally produce it. And what this does, the receptors in our body help defend. It's like a defense system, right? It helps aid in our immune system and our neurological systems, helps defend and protect heavy metals and toxins from our body, helps push it out, for lack of better terms, right? If you take glutathione, you're helping demetal, detoxify the body. That's what that does. When you deplete those receptors with acetaminophen, where's the protection go?
Which is Tylenol.
Which is acetaminophen, which is Tylenol. What happens? You've just lost your defense mechanism. Now you're defenseless as a baby, and now you're getting these toxins and neurotoxins, which is confirmed, right? We just talked about this. This is crazy. So the hepatitis B, right? It contains way over the amount of aluminum that the FDA and the CDC say in the it says this will harm you, and then you still give the hepatitis B shot to babies, knowingly that this is over the doses that the CDC recommends.
Yeah, but they're saying the form matters, the way you take it matters.
Even though now we're doing autopsies on Parkinson's and dementia patients that have the same amount of aluminum and metals in a newborn baby's body that has autism that died from not SIDS, not a vaccine injury. No, they just died of whatever causes. You know what I mean? Crazy. This is happening across our country right now. It's disgusting.
So a 5-year-old kid can have an eye contact, right?
Uh-huh.
And your kid had an eye contact prior to the shots.
Yeah.
when did you realize that he can't focus and he can't look into your eyes? He can't have an eye contact?
Right then and there, on that 5 months. Like I said, I watched his lights go out, and he regressed and he got really sick. And then he started doing the stimulations, right? He started beating his head, because this is where the inflammation lies, right? This is my goal with my facility and our nonprofit. We try to eliminate the inflammation in the brain and in the microgut biome to help alleviate those pain. These are symptoms of neurological damage. These are symptoms of microgut biome damage. That's what's happening here. These babies are sick, and that's why they keep getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And no one wants to treat autism as a biological disorder. They want to treat it like it's a behavioral, so then they can keep masking everything. Right now in today's world, autism is just how much has your baby been vaccine injured. This is not the same autism from 20 years ago where you can be a genius and you can feel good and you can function, you can play sports, you can be an Elon Musk. That's not my son. My son has brain damage, and we have to admit that. We have to take accountability for that for all the other millions of kids that it's also happening to in today's world, because especially we've got mandated vaccines in California just to have an education. So now you're inconvenienced as a parent if you don't get these vaccines. I mean, the system is so corrupt. We can go on for hours about so many different ways and things that are just damaging our babies. But these are the reasons why we're spiking 1 in 4 boys in autism now in California. That's crazy.
4?
1 in 4.
No,
1
it
in
says
4
1 in 12.
affected. 1 in 12. But we're talking California. California has mandated vaccines in the education systems. 1 in 4, I'm not saying autism, 1 in 4 affected neurologically conditioned baby, neurologically compromised baby. That's what's happening here. ADD, ADHD, something. 1 in 4, our babies are now being affected. You want to talk about the education problem? It's not an education problem because we got bad teachers. I think that's an issue, but that's not the main issue. The main issue is our babies can't develop. They can't project. They can't think properly. They can't focus. They've got too much pills. They've got too much poisons. They've got too much things that are going inside the body that they can't focus. And they're masking all of this, and they're just saying, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. They've got this, more diagnosis, more prognosis, more pills, more Ritalin, more poisons, more vaccines all at once. It's just crazy. Like, they're putting so much all in at once, and why do we keep allowing this to happen? When babies like my son, when we watch their lights go out and we can't bring them back. He deserved a much better life, and we watched it. And by the way, it didn't get better at 6. It got worse. Ear infections, more pills. Oh, and he can't talk. My son can't tell me what's going on. He's crying every day. My son is suffering. He's in pain because his brain is hurting. His head is inflamed. He's got this massive, you can see it in the video, his head is completely inflamed. He's sick to his stomach. He's not digesting properly. I mean, this is all happening because of the vaccines, because he got a toxic overload. We're doing 5 or 6 of these at once. When I get 1 vaccine, that's enough for me to feel a little sick, a little fluey, a little nasty. My system can defend that. A newborn baby's body cannot defend 6 vaccines at once. You're ignorant to think that it can.
So you called your doctor and said, this is what's happening. Fever, 1 4,
Take Tylenol.
5. Take Tylenol. What's next?
That's it. And watch them suffer more. Nothing more. That's it.
When was
Well,
your
doc,
next?
what about these vaccines? We think that these are a problem. Well, no, it's fine. Completely gaslit us and made us think that it was not the vaccines. I should have known better, but I was in a dark place. I was in a really hard place watching my son suffer. Our business was shut down. Everything, my whole life is shutting down at this point. So I'm completely just trying to get by at this point. I'm in a complete depression. So now, we're trying to take our son to get to these doctor appointments. Now he's got ear infections, got pus leaking from his ears. He's crying. He's frustrated. He's not talking. He's not progressing, right? We obviously know something is wrong at this point. I can't believe for the life of me that this is autism. I don't even really know truly what autism really was at this point. I did talks, I did walks, I did fundraisers. I did not know what this type of autism was, right? This is nonverbal, severe autism where my son's never going to talk again. He's never going to be normal. He's going to be in diapers for the rest of his life is what we're being told. And we just have to sit there and take it.
Literally?
Literally. This is, by the way, this is millions of people. This is not just me. I'm not just one of 10 million. I am one of millions. I'm so many people that are experiencing this same type of autism. When I post videos and these are going by, I'm having families reach out, massive families, just like, oh, the same thing happened to my son. And this is within the past 5 or 6 years. Ever since 2020, they started check this out. So even after we knew that my son was sick, something was wrong, I think 4 or 5 months later, my mom took my son for a checkup, and I did not know this until I checked his records. They caught my son up with 3 more fucking vaccines that same day when they walked in there and told my mom that it was okay. My mom did not consent to this. They gave my son 3 more vaccines, 3 more, 3 months later. and say, oh, we're just going to catch him up after he was already compromised at 5 or 6 months, and they knew that he was. This was negligence. Where's the justice in all of this? I mean, there's millions of families watching this happen to their babies and should not happen. And I'm a walking martyr. I watched this happen to my own son. He had all these vaccines at once, and we watched him suffer, and now he's hurting, and we have to do something about it to help him, right? Or there was, because no one else is.